Bhante, before we start a Dhamma talk, could you kindly give us the 3 PC and 8 precepts, Bhante?
No, I can't, because some of you don't understand it, so that would be too much. So right at the start, I would like to inform you that these meetings will be recorded. They're broadcasted online, but not the interviews. So we distinguish 3 parts of our meetings. We will have 3 kinds of meetings. One meeting where I will explain to you the basics of meditation, the plan. I will be answering your questions. Second, where there will be private interviews or group interviews where I will be interviewing you, and that will not be broadcasted or recorded in any way at all. And then third, where our organizers will be playing for you videos, my lectures, where I explain basics of meditation. So at that time, I will not be present, and they are also not compulsory. They are not expected from you to come and see. But if you want, you can. It will probably make your practice clearer, because the explanations there are much more thorough and very carefully structured. So at this moment, we are at a meeting which is broadcasted, and I will be explaining what is going to happen in this retreat in these 10 days. And we will be resolving some problems right in the beginning, such as the suitable time for our daily meetings. So in this meditation retreat, you will be practicing meditation on loving kindness, meditation on observing the body and the mind, and you will also gradually train yourself in developing patience, peace, and some kind of understanding of how things work, how the mind and body arise and pass away. You will be learning about impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, not self. Our meetings should not take longer than about an hour a day, but sometimes it may be longer. Our interviews will follow right after our meetings, and the video broadcast, those recorded lectures will be available for you at a different time of your day. So we will have to come together and decide the best time that suits most of us. Okay, so I live in Vietnam, and in Vietnam at this moment we have 11 a.m., 11:09. Some of you live in the US, so you will have probably 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. or some other time. Some of you live probably in another country. So I would like to ask you, everybody, to let me know in the chat box in which country are you right now. So you can just write the country name. I'll be writing Vietnam. So far, it seems we have one person who's in the USA, others are in Vietnam. Okay. So in that case, what do you think about this time? Who of you is fine if we meet every single day at this particular time? Please raise your hand. As for me, this time is totally the best. So whoever is comfortable with this time, please kindly raise your hand. Hu Yen Chang, do you know how to raise your Zoom hand?
Excuse me, can you say it again?
Hu Yen Chang. I'm talking to Hu Yen Chang. Yes, now it's successful. Okay, you got it. And Annie Nguyen, are you fine with this time for our daily meetings, or would you like a different time?
For me, this time is okay, except for Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, thank you. Now we have here another participant called Annie Nguyen.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm in Vietnam right now. So the time is absolutely okay for me, but also except weekend, so Saturday and Sunday would be a little bit difficult because we have a son. He will run around and then play around, and this is a little bit difficult.
Excuse me, what do you have?
We have a son.
You have your
young child. So he at weekend he's at home. And he will run around. It's a little bit difficult to focus.
Okay, so well, at that time you can mute your video. What you can also do, you can watch the recordings. In fact, all of these meetings, except the interviews, are entirely available for you as recordings. So none of you actually has to come at the time of our meeting. That is not the requirement. There's only one requirement. I will come to that soon. But the requirement to come to this meeting at the time when we started does not exist. It's not required. You can watch it from a recording. So if for whatever reason you realize that you cannot really come because whatever, you need to help somebody, or you need to go somewhere, or you are busy with something, or there's some other problem, no problem. Or you have an internet problem or any other problem, no problem at all. But it's necessary that you watch the recording so that you know the update on the meditation instruction and you know what's going on. So these updates will be available. Where will they be available? We'll need to have some kind of system through which we can send a message and everybody will receive it. So what do you suggest? So I think most of you have Zalo, right? Is there anybody who does not have Zalo? If you don't have Zalo, please unmute and tell me. Okay, there is one person who doesn't have Zalo. It's me. But otherwise, everybody has Zalo here. So our organizers will be sending you the messages if there is any update or any change, and also you will receive the links for our recordings. So you can. So not only that you can hear whatever I'm saying during the meeting, but you can also join us later. You can later watch the recording so you can remind yourself of anything that you found interesting or strange, or that you would like to just listen again to. So that's pretty good. So let's keep it like this, 11 a.m. for every day. For me, this is totally the best time possible. On Sunday, though, let's meet 1 hour later. That will be only one day when we would be meeting 1 hour later from 12 to 2. But otherwise, let's meet at 11 Vietnamese time. So what is the requirement? So the requirement, yes, please, organizers can remove the Zoom hands. Liu Zhu, you did not raise your hand, so I'm not sure whether you're fine with this time to meet. Are you okay meeting every day 11 a.m.? Vietnamese time. Liu Xiu.
Yes, it's okay for me. 11 a.m.
Okay.
is okay for me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Phuoc Xiu Ji, would you like to tell me something? Everything's fine. All right, so now there is one requirement in this retreat. It is very important, and it's the one requirement which can decide that you either can continue in the retreat or that you are disqualified. There is no other requirement. And that is that you meditate at least 6 hours every day. If you meditate 5 hours and 59 minutes, that will be a problem. But if you meditate 6 hours or 6 hours and 1 minute or 6 hours and 3 minutes or 6 hours and 10 minutes or 6 hours and 30 minutes or 7 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours, that's all fine. So you cannot meditate less than 6 hours per day. You can spend that time in walking. You can do walking practice, walking meditation. You can do sitting meditation. You can mix them. You can do 30 hours sitting, 3 hours walking. You can decide any proportion you want. So if you meditate 1 hour sitting, 5 hours walking, it's totally fine. If you meditate 5 hours sitting, 1 hour walking, it's totally fine. That is entirely dependent on you, how you want to do it. If you just sit all 6 hours, it's fine. If you just walk all 6 hours, it's also fine. I will raise some concerns and warn you of some difficulties, possibilities, but it's totally fine. It is totally allowed. So this is the only requirement. Now, this retreat is supposed to take 10 days. If you miss one day you do not fulfill 6 hours of meditation, well then, it doesn't really matter. If you miss another day, so a second day, any second day. So if you miss a second day, 6 hours, that also doesn't really matter. But if you miss a third day, any day, then you are disqualified. What is it? What does this mean to be disqualified? It means that you are no more eligible for interview. You're no more eligible for interview, no more eligible to watch our lectures. The lectures that are recorded are available only to you. Nobody else in the world except the editor and me, who are still working on these videos, is yet allowed to watch these videos. That's because these videos are not really complete. So the first video is actually complete, and I would like to know your feedback on that, so we know whether we can already publish it or whether there is some horrendous issue that we need to quickly resolve. But from video 2 and onwards, there are still many things to do. And the higher you go with the videos, there are 18 videos. You will be watching only 10 out of those 18 during this retreat. Out of these 10, only the first video is really ready. The remaining videos are still under construction, so you will be seeing very interesting blue screens with explanation on what should be added into that place, and so on and on. But still, I think it is better. It may be more interesting than if you have to read it or listen to somebody reading. All right, so that's for the plan. Anybody has any question, any concern so far? So far, everything's clear. Very well. Okay, so now as we have decided our plans, we will be meeting from today onwards. So Tuesday until Saturday, we meet at 11 a.m. On Sunday, we meet at 12 midday. And then on Monday to Thursday, we'll be meeting again at 11 a.m. So this will be the plan. Make sure that you have it in your calendar, that you have your alarm clock, because we will not be changing that. If I do not come within 10 minutes for our meeting, it means that I may be dead, or I may be injured, or I may be something else may be happening to me. Who knows? So you always know that if I don't come within 10 minutes to a meeting, not just here, but any other meeting in my life, then you know that you don't have to wait anymore. You know that it's canceled, and then I will inform you as soon as possible about the alternative term. But I hope to be coming all of those 10 days. And anything else for the plan? So far that seems clear. So for meditation, the 6 hours of your meditation start from the moment that we finish this particular meeting. That means the meeting plus interview. So at the very moment that we finish our interview, if it is right after this meeting, all the way until the moment when we start next interview the next day. So that is the day. Okay, so day doesn't start from midnight to midnight. It doesn't start from noon to noon, or from dawn to dawn, as is in the ancient times. Now, the day during this retreat starts from the end when you finish your interview with me, and it ends by the moment that your interview next day starts. So when I ask you, how many hours did you meditate yesterday? Then it doesn't mean yesterday. It means how many hours did you meditate since our last interview until now? So this way we can easily simplify, regardless wherever you live, whatever is your time zone. Now you know what's going on. So what will be these 6 hours? You can, of course, meditate more than 6 hours, but it's necessary that you follow the instruction that I will be explaining here. You can meditate also other methods, but it needs to be outside those 6 hours. So in other words, into these 6 hours of requirement come only the time that you spent with the instruction that I will be providing you with here. As soon as you do something else, it doesn't count into the 6 hours. And so you run into a trouble, into the danger that your 6 hours will not be complete. So it's very important that you are very careful during the instruction, because I will then be asking you, what did you do in your meditation? And you cannot just say, I was just having nice time with my dog. You cannot say that. You need to be very careful and follow the instruction exactly as I'm explaining it. Whatever you don't understand, you need to ask me. Whatever is not sure, whatever you disagree with, you need to ask me. There is always space for discussion. All right. Whatever you don't like, I need to know that, because maybe the practice is not for you. Well, then it doesn't make sense that you will continue and suffer, right? Or maybe you just misunderstood. So I just explained what I said, and suddenly it's fine. So it's always worth it, to ask me, and we can resolve the problem. We will not be meditating on breath throughout these 10 days. There will be not even a second when you're supposed to observe your breath in meditation, be it sitting or walking. It's very important for you to know that. So we do not meditate on breath. We do not observe our breath. We are not mindful of our breath. We don't care at all about our breath. Breath will not be included in the meditation practices here. You will be considering breath very little, but that will be in later times, and it will be as one of 42 different things. So that will not really be meditation on breath. It will be considering breath as air element in the body, but I will explain that later. And it will be for a short time, for about 1 day only. So during this meditation retreat, we will not be meditating on breath. We will also not be considering qualities of the Buddha. So that totally doesn't count into your 6 hours. Whatever time you spend observing your breath doesn't count into your 6 hours. I mean intentionally. If you unintentionally forget yourself and happen to know about your breath, that's totally fine and it still counts. But if it is unintentional and you just forget yourself at the breath, it's totally fine and it still counts totally as this method. So that's about techniques that are not allowed in this practice. You can really meditate, you can meditate on breath, you can observe, you can consider Buddha's qualities, but it will be outside those 6 hours of your meditation time. So you cannot really say that I'm prohibiting you to follow them. I just want to make sure that what you do here is what I expect you to do. So then when during interview you tell me what you are doing, I will be able to help you. I will be able to guide you and support you. If you do something that I do not teach, well, then I will not be able to support you sufficiently. So for that, it's better to find a different teacher who will teach you that what you want to do. There are plenty of teachers who teach meditation and breath in the world, and I'm not one of them. So if you want to meditate on breath, other teachers are definitely a better choice. But as soon as it comes to loving kindness, observing the mind or observing the body, then we definitely can discuss a lot. So I will now summarize a little bit the meditation plan of this 10-day retreat, so you know what's actually coming. So you will not be teaching on breath, you will not be teaching meditation on Buddha's qualities. So what else is there? Well, there are 62 meditation practices taught by the Buddha himself in our Pali scriptures. And I will be teaching you about 5 or 6 out of them. We'll see how much our time will allow. But my aim is to teach you how to get power over your mind. I do not expect you to achieve some jhanas or special spiritual experiences. I don't expect you to attain enlightenment or to get some psychic powers. You may, but it's not really expected. That's not the aim of this practice. In these 10 days, the aim is to introduce you to these techniques so that wherever you go to any meditation center, you can easily follow them. You know how these practices look like, how they're practiced, what is their main objective, and to help you gain power over your mind. So that if you decide to meditate on breath, you meditate on breath and not on something else. If you decide on meditating to meditate on loving kindness, you meditate on loving kindness and not something else. If you decide to observe the mind, you observe the mind and not something else. So we can see this problem with many meditators today. They meditate, they want to meditate on something, but they meditate on something else, and they just are not able to control their mind. So as you can see, these are basic skills, but even professional meditators do not possess them. So I want to equip you with these special skills so that wherever you go, whatever you do, wherever you go as a meditation center or a meditation teacher, whatever you do as a meditation technique, I wish that you are successful and that you progress smoothly. Loving kindness, by the way, has 11 advantages, and one of them is becoming concentrated very fast. So if you meditate on loving kindness, you will that will be the first tool for you to practice any meditation technique of your choice, according to any teacher. All right, so what's the plan? So the plan is, first of all, I will teach you how to meditate on muscles. So meditation on muscles is included in meditation on repulsiveness of the body. The Buddha explained repulsiveness of the body as observing the nature of the bodily parts, such as the hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinews, bones, bone marrow, and so on and on. And muscles are one of them, muscles and sinews. We will be, however, observing muscles and sinews not necessarily to see how the body is repulsive, but we will be observing them to achieve peace. So as you can see, there are several benefits of this practice. Then after you manage, after you achieve peace with this practice of observing muscles, then you will be concentrating your mind on peace. So you will be gradually developing peace and your power over your peace, so that you can develop it, so that you can generate it anytime you want. Then, as soon as you establish yourself in peace, you can start radiating loving kindness. Loving kindness in the way I have learned it in Sri Lanka from my master, Venerable Pema Siddhi, has 16 levels. So I like to teach these 16 levels because this practice helped me very much. But while I practiced it 5 years, the aim is to speed up into 4 days. So I will be training you and helping you to achieve power of love, for which I needed 5 years and for which you have 4 days. So let's see how much you can do. And then after you achieve full understanding and full potential to radiate loving kindness, I will then teach you something very different, and that is repulsiveness of the body in full, and then observing the mind. I teach 7 techniques of observing the mind, and we will be looking at about 2, maybe 1. We'll see how much time we'll have, but I will teach you at least 1 technique of observing the mind. So this is the plan, and now we are right in the beginning. We are right in the beginning of this program, and that is observing muscles and sinews. Meditation on muscles and sinews involves the training in the ultimately most important and essential skill for any meditation you ever will practice. And that is the ability to accept, to let be, to allow how things are. You will need this skill throughout these 10 days, and you will need it throughout your life whenever you meditate. So what's this skill about? So this skill is the skill of the wise attitude towards the world. The world will continue being the way it is, whether I like it or not. So for example, suppose that it's late at night and it's very dark outside. Now, if I come and ask you, do you think that the sun is shining? Now, all of those of you who have passed at least some lower grades at school surely know that the sun is shining. And you will hopefully tell me, yes, indeed, the sun is shining. But do you really see the sun shining at night? And do you really help the sun to be shining? Do you at least feel it? Do you at least feel the heat? You neither see it, you neither feel it, nor do you help it, nor do you anything with it. You just know that the sun is shining. Are you concerned with it? Are you worried about it? Are you trying something regarding it? No. And that's to accept. So you are fully fine. Okay, sun is shining. I'm okay with that. I don't see it. I don't feel it. I don't do anything for it. I don't do anything against it. I don't stop it. I don't support it. I'm fine with that. And this is the same attitude that we will be learning in the direction of our body and our mind. So we will gradually learn how to accept the body and the mind as if they were something far, far away, totally unrelated to us. So one day, the Buddha was with the monks in a forest. And the Buddha says, monks, if the people from the village come and they take the leaves and sticks from this forest, what will you say? Will you say, oh, the lay people are taking us away? And the monks say, no, we will not say that they're taking us away, because they're taking away leaves and sticks, and we are not the leaves and sticks. And the Buddha says, in the same way as you are not the leaves and sticks, this body and mind is not you. Okay? So in the same way as the sun that's far away and it's shining is not you, and you just accept that it's shining and that it's hot and that it's over there, in that same way, you will be learning to accept that there is this body, that there is this mind. So we will gradually understand that this body, the mind, in the ultimate sense, are not in our power. Okay? They're not under our control. It seems as if they are, and in the conceptual world, they absolutely are, and it's very important that they are. But in the ultimate sense, they are not. It's just an illusion that we have power over them. It's as if you take a pen. So this is a pen, but also it is space. According to atomic physics, most of this pen is space. What are the material qualities, such as the electrons, protons, neutrons? They are not really playing much, important role in this pen. Most of this pen is space. So now I can take this pen as space with a few subatomic particles, or I can take it as a pen. Both of them are true at the same time. And we all know it. Nobody is arguing about it. Immediately we understand it. So in that same way, the body and the mind are in the conventional, in the practical sense, ours, and we can do a lot with them and we have power over them. But in the ultimate sense, we have no power over them. They're just arising, passing moments of materiality and mentality. Okay, so in meditation, we will be practicing, we will be dealing with both of these levels of reality. Now, however, for the muscles, we will be looking at a rather conceptual level, and maybe you will already understand some of the ultimate as you practice with the conceptual. We'll be considering the muscles and sinews as representatives of the element of earth, or of hardness and heaviness. So we'll be considering muscles and sinews in the body as that they are heavy. If you feel that hardness is better for you, you can consider hardness. The Buddha taught both hardness and heaviness, so we can choose. Heaviness is, however, very helpful in the beginning because you will be using it for peace. And when you consider the body to be heavy, somehow it has been found out that it helps in achieving peace. So we get two benefits: one, achieving peace; another one, detachment from the body. All right, so before we start meditating on muscles, and that's really the only thing you will be doing today, just meditating on muscles, it's very important that we are clear about the meditation postures. Today we will not have any interviews because interviews come after some meditation. So we have a little more time for talking and explaining. I will be saying a lot of things and you may be exhausted. So I would like to suggest that you write down notes, and after the meeting, you may like to see your notes again. I very much appreciate all students who write notes during our meditation, because there's always higher probability that they will really follow the instruction if they wrote down the notes. than if they didn't. Okay, so and the lectures that you will be seeing, do not expect that they will supply the instruction, not at all. They just explain to you the nature of meditation. They do not really give you any instruction. Later, no, well, the first instruction comes at lecture 8, and I don't think you will see lecture 8. So you will not really see any instruction in these lectures. The only time when you receive instruction and explanation what to do is in this particular meeting, in these meetings that we will have every day. Okay, there will be no other opportunity for you to get this instruction. Of course, you can watch this recording. So first, we will need to talk about the postures. So we will recommend here 2 postures, and that's sitting and walking. There are 4 postures: sitting, walking, standing, lying down. But I will suggest to you that you meditate only in sitting and walking. If you want to meditate in standing, you will have to get permission from me. For walking, you can also get permission from me. But with lying down, meditation on lying down, so sitting and walking is totally fine. For walking and lying down, you need to get permission from me. And for the lying down posture, there is a little problem, because I don't know what will you be doing in your lying down posture. And unfortunately, you also may not know. What if you fall asleep? Now, you may fall asleep in sitting practice as well, but in the lying posture, I worry that the probability is higher. So lying down posture is allowed, is fine, but it counts as half time. So for example, if you meditate in sitting 3 hours and in lying down 3 hours, because the lying down 3 hours count as half, so 1.5 hours, you actually did only 4.5 hours of meditation. If you want to do sitting 3 hours, walking 1 hour, and then the rest you want to do in lying down, well, then you have 3 hours in sitting plus 1 hour in walking. So you need to do 2 hours more. And because for lying down, you need to do twice, you need to do 4 hours lying down so that you fulfill your 6 hours. Because 4 hours will count as 2 hours, so 4 plus 2 is 6. So lying down is fine, but you will have to spend more time for the lying down meditation. One very important rule, and that's part of the instruction: never meditate longer than 60 minutes at once. If you meditate longer than 60 minutes at once, then you are not following the instruction. It's so important. So as soon as you meditate longer than 60 minutes, you can do 61, 62 minutes is still fine, but do not meditate longer than 60 minutes, because I then don't know how to help you. It's not, I did practice longer practices like 40 minutes or 50 minutes, 100 minutes or 110 minutes, that's true. But this was never a continuous practice for me. And so I'm not confident that I can help you, that I can guide you or support you if you meditate that long, because it's not my experience. So I can confidently guide you in that what I have done, but I cannot guide you that confidently in something else. So as soon as you meditate longer than 60 minutes, you'll be running in troubles. And that meditation will not count into your 6 hours. So if you, let's say, meditate 5 hours, 5 times 60 minutes, and then 1 hour you will meditate 90 minutes, well, then those 90 minutes don't count at all. So you have done only 5 hours. Okay, so be very careful about that. If you meditate longer than 60 minutes, it does not count. You can meditate 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, or 20, or 30, or 40, 45. You can meditate 14 minutes or 22 minutes. totally fine. But as soon as it's longer than 60, it doesn't work. So this is also important information. So you are fully in power over the period of your meditation. So you can meditate 25 minutes each time. 25 minutes sitting, 25 minutes walking, 25 minutes sitting, 25 minutes walking, then 20 minutes sitting. Then let's say you will do 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting. So this is totally fine. You have total freedom to decide how long is each period of your meditation. You can also decide whether you do sitting, walking, or whether you do walking, sitting, then you take meal, then you do walking, sitting, then you take a nap, then again walking, sitting. It's totally fine. But there should be at least 15 minutes pause between the same posture. So you cannot do just sitting 60 minutes, stand up, sit down, and do another 60 minutes in sitting. No, that doesn't work. You need to have at least 50 minutes intermediate period, interim period between the meditation session in the same posture. So you can do, for example, 60 minutes walking, 15 minutes sitting, 60 minutes walking, or you can do 60 minutes walking, go take a cup of tea. After 15 minutes, come back and continue another 60 minutes walking. Okay, but you cannot do 60 minutes walking, look to the left and right and do another 60 minutes walking. No, that doesn't work. Okay, so always must be at least 15 minutes between two sessions of the same posture. Okay, so now we are looking at the posture in sitting and in walking, and then we will be meditating. We will be meditating together a little, and then there will be questions. Okay, some more role. Sometimes it comes to my mind. If it comes to my mind a lot, again, it's very good that you can write it down because it's so much of information. So there is another role, which is very important. While I do recommend that you write down notes from everything I say, and it's very good and very, very helpful, very powerful, and I will remember you for that, then if you meditate, do not write down notes from your meditation practice. Because as you meditate, if you write down notes from your experience, you will then be thinking about what you will write down while you meditate. And we don't want that. I don't want you to think about what will you be writing down. I want you to be with the meditation object, with the meditation practice. So do not write down anything about your meditation experience. Then during interview, you will be telling me, you will be talking with me about your meditation experience. That is true. But if you forget something, it doesn't matter. Okay, you tell me what you remember, no problem. On the other hand, you can always write down your questions. So during the day, even during meditation, if you get a question, you make the determination, okay, so this is a question, I will write it down after I finish this sitting session or after I finish this walking time. And then after you finish that, then you take your notebook, you write down the question that you want to ask me, and you can continue in the practice. So we do not interrupt our meditation to write down question, but as soon as the session finishes, we write down the question and we continue. It's very important for me that you know what are your questions and that you ask me, because what if the question is very important for your practice? What if it is something very important that I forgot to tell you? And it's very common that the students ask me questions that I had to tell them and I just forgot to tell them. So it's very important that you ask me your questions so that we are all clear about what's going on. All right, so you can write down notes from whatever I'm saying. You can write down your questions, but do not write down your experience. So let's get to the postures finally. So there are several kinds of postures, how you can keep your legs during meditation. And I will be introducing you to some of them because I worry you do not have the props. There are various things, various tools that you can use for sitting during meditation, but you may not have them. And if you already have them, you probably know how to use them. So that would not help much. I will show you how to meditate without any prop, without any support. But at the same time, I will also show you how you can make your own props from things that you have around yourself. So let's start with the way how you sit. You can sit on a chair. During this retreat, you can sit on a chair and meditate. If you spend all 6 hours of meditation on a chair every day, all of the 10 days, it's totally fine. Okay? Meditation on chair is totally fine. There's totally no problem with that. But even on the chair, you need to follow some rules. So I will then explain to you how to follow those rules. Now let's look at sitting on the floor. So sitting on the floor, we have two kinds. One that is suitable, one that is not suitable. So there are various postures that are suitable for meditation on the floor. And some postures are not suitable at all. And some postures are just not suitable for meditation. So if I can make more light. So oftentimes people like to meditate in this posture where they keep one of their calves on the foot of the other leg, and another calf on the toes of the other leg. So this is an amazing, very nice posture for talking, for reading, studying, for speaking, for eating, but it is not a good posture for meditation because it is an ordinary posture. For meditation, you need to have a special posture because in special posture, you can create a very interesting psychological effect. Whenever you sit in that special posture, the mind will know that this is the time to start meditating. This is the time when there will be calm. And because the mind immediately knows that there will be peace, the mind calms down very fast. So we want to keep a special meditation posture so that whenever we sit down in that special posture, the mind immediately knows now calm will start. So the mind will achieve peace very quickly. All right. So what would be the special postures? So one of the special postures suggested by the ancient Buddhist texts or scriptures, we call it, is keeping both of the legs on the floor entirely. So as you can see, my foot is on the floor. The other foot is also on the floor. The calves, the knees, the thighs are all on the floor. So keeping all of the legs on the floor is a very good posture. It's actually most common, most favorite posture in Myanmar. There are various variations. You can sit like this. You can also keep the feet a little closer towards yourself. You can also open the knees. So that will depend on your physical abilities and whatever is comfortable for you. So then this is one very much recommended posture. Second one that's also recommended by our scriptures is keeping one foot gently placed between the thigh and calf of the other leg. In that case, however, the toes of the other foot need to a little bit stick out below, all right, so that it's nicely balanced. So this is also a very good posture for meditation. Another posture that is very good for meditation is keeping this foot on the thigh, all right, that's also fine. So I like to count them. So this is number 1, number 2, and this is number 3. Okay. There's another posture that's very, very famous, but rare among meditators, and that's the so-called full lotus. However, the full lotus is problematic because there are 2 kinds of full lotus. There is the real full lotus and the so-called fake full lotus. The real full lotus, or let's start with the fake one. The fake full lotus. The fake full lotus is easily recognized if the knee is above the floor. It doesn't touch the floor. So because the knee is not touching the floor, as you can see, there is space between the knee and the floor, then it is a fake full lotus. It is not real. Okay, most of people who think they sit in full lotus, they're sitting in fake full lotus. It's not real one. Real full lotus has the knee entirely placed on the floor. Okay, so that there is no space. So you can try out your full lotus, but you should not have anything under your bum. Okay, if you keep any cushion or something, then that's not true. You need to remove all of your cushions, sit entirely just your body on the floor, and see if your knee will be like this, levitating above the floor, or whether it will be touching the floor entirely. If it is touching the floor entirely, it is allowed for this meditation retreat. If your knee is levitating above the floor while you have no cushion or no pillow under your bum, then it is not allowed because it's not good for your health. You will have strong pressure here at this location, and I don't want to be resolving that for you. So this is the basic meditation posture. Then we have the so-called seiza, or Japanese posture. So some of you may like to sit like this, and that also is totally fine. In Japan, this is their favorite way of sitting. So the feet are here at the back, knees are in the front. Some people like to use props. I don't have them at hand at this moment. So they keep either a pillow between their legs and they sit on that pillow, or they keep wooden stools and they keep that over their leg, over their calves. They sit on that stool, and that also is fine. Then let's look at the posture on the chair. So how am I going to do that? So I will ask our organizer to show you meditation on the chair. So Tutam, do you have a chair over there?
It seems that I can find a chair here, Bhante.
Okay.
Let me try to find it.
Amazing. Very well. So we will need to tilt it a little down, and you'll probably need to move the chair far away. If you tilt the camera down also, which will help, we'll need to see your feet as well. Okay, very good. Well done. So that means I will show you the video of Tutam in the spotlight. So now, as you can see, Tutam is sitting on a chair, and for Tutam, this chair is high. How do I know it? Because her thighs and her calves are not in the right angle. They are not in the 90 degrees angle. So that means that Tutam will have to take some pillow under her feet. So can you take some pillow, whatever you see around? There should be a pillow on the bench where you have the computer. No, that's not a pillow. Oh, that also. Oh, wow. That will take a long time. You don't have there any pillow on the bench right there where you have now this laptop. The other bench, no, not there. To the left from you, there should be a pillow right on the wall, close to the wall. Yeah, that's right. You have their pillows there. Yes, that's correct. Nice. You see? So now this is much better. Probably it's not 100% what we want, but it's very close to that, and it's fine. Maybe you can move the pillow even closer to yourself. Can you move the pillow a little closer? Yes. Yes. Okay. Now you're getting pretty good 90 degrees. So as you can see, Tutam's thighs and calves are in 90 degrees, and that's what we need to have when we meditate in walking. Now the knees need to be in the distance of your hips. So you cannot have them too close. You cannot have them too far. They need to be in the distance of your hips. All right, right along your hips. And both the feet need to completely touch the floor, okay, or whatever is the pillow you're using. And there is one more thing that you may have noticed. Tutam has her back erect, and she is not leaning over the back of the chair. All right. So these are the important rules. So number one, thighs and calves are in 90 degrees. Number two, the knees are as far from each other as are the hips. This is the width of your hips. Both feet fully touch the floor or the cushion you use to help. And the back is erect, and it does not lean over the back of the chair. Okay, thank you very much. So that was a very nice presentation. And now we will go back to our sitting on the floor. So sitting on the floor, even when done perfectly, will probably bring you some pain. It will surely bring you some numbness, and to some of you it will bring pain. What will you do about that? Different teachers teach different things. So what do our ancient books say about that? Nothing. The ancient books don't mention anything at all about pain in the Moreover, according to our scriptures, sitting in the meditation posture is so comfortable that you are not able to see suffering. Our scriptures say that we cannot see suffering because of the comfort we have in our sitting and other postures. That's what the scriptures say. So how come that people have pain in their legs during meditation? The scriptures don't understand that. The scriptures don't support any such pain. The scriptures instead support that in your meditation posture, you enjoy pleasure. Either you enjoy pleasure of jhana, deep level of concentration, or you enjoy pleasure of nibbana. But there's no talk about suffering. But you could say, well, surely you have missed it. Surely the scriptures say something about pain. Well, they do. That's why I'm so sure that I did not miss it. Because the scriptures do speak about pain in meditation, but only in the back. So we do have mention of back pain in our scriptures, but we never have mention about leg pain in our scriptures, not even numbness, nothing of that kind. Probably because, at those times, they did not use chairs. They did use chairs, but only the elders, only the old monks were using chairs. So because they did not use chairs so much, their legs somewhat, were rotated a little different way. And therefore, when they would sit, it was not painful. Today, we are used to sit on chairs. So, of course, our legs are rotated a little bit inward. So then when we sit on the floor, which requires that the thighs, are rotated outwards, then it's not that comfortable, or at least after some time. So, okay, that's fine. So the scriptures don't talk about it, but that doesn't change the fact that that there is pain in the legs when we meditate. So what shall we do about that? So if it is true that you are not supposed to have pain in the legs, well, then we will have to do something about that pain so that it's not there. Because if you maintain the pain there, throughout the time you have pain there, you're no more following the scriptures, or you do not have support in the scriptures. Because the scriptures always extol, they praise the pleasure in long time of sitting. So if you do not have pleasure, well, then you're doing something wrong. It's just that simple. Sometimes, you hear from many, many teachers something, but that doesn't really mean that all those many, many teachers are telling you what's in the scriptures. It also could be that it's their idea. Or ask them. Go to see your master who tells you, no, you need to sit through the pain. Ask them reverently, Venerable Sir, please, can you tell me the place in our scriptures where is any mention of pain in legs specifically? And they will not be able to tell you anything of that kind. They will be able to tell you that you have to meditate until your bones get dry and your blood gets dry and so on and on. But there is no mention about legs. So we cannot really be sure that this sitting on and on until one becomes enlightened considers also going through pain in the legs, because it probably does not consider it. Okay, so different teacher will teach you something else. I like to maintain the basic requirements that we see in our scriptures. If the requirement is that you have pleasure, well, then that means that we need to do some pleasure. So how will we do that? By changing the posture. So when you have pain in your meditation, I require that you change that posture. It is very important, because if you don't change the posture, you may get permanent numbness, or you may get some other problem. And then I will worry that I'm responsible for that. And I don't want to worry about that. So please do not sit in pain longer than about 2-3 minutes. After those 2-3 minutes in pain, you need to change your meditation posture. And I will exactly tell you how to do that. So suppose that we sit in the most favorite Burmese meditation posture, where we keep both legs on the floor. So both of the feet, calves, knees, and thighs are on the floor. Whichever you choose, this one or number 2 or number 3 or the Seiza, the Japanese posture, that is totally fine. It's totally up to you. And then when you feel, as you meditate and you experience excruciating pain for 2 or 3 minutes, well, then you need to change your posture. And the best way to change your posture is to change it into the mermaid posture. Okay, so mermaid, that's how the Americans call it. So this is like the tail of the mermaid, you know, and so that's the mermaid's posture. Or for the gentleman, you can call it the merman's posture, but that's not how they call it. So you can change to the mermaid's posture and you stay there maximum 3 minutes. After those 3 minutes, all numbness, all pain should disappear. We do not change posture because of numbness, all right? But we change posture because of pain, because you can go through numbness, and after the sitting session, if you change into the mermaid's posture for some time to regenerate and to get rid of the numbness, then that's still healthy. But if you have pain, it's necessary to change your posture. You continue in your meditation for about 3 minutes. When you see that all pain, all numbness are entirely gone and you feel very comfortable, very nice, then you actually need to change back. So you need to change back to exactly the same posture in which you started. So throughout that meditation time, you have maximum 2 postures that you can do. And that is your primary posture in which you start, regardless whichever it is. And the secondary posture in which you regenerate your nerves, because the numbness and pain are a nerve problem, not a blood vessel problem. And then you move back to your primary posture. So we call it primary posture is the one in which you start. Secondary posture, the mermaid's posture, is the one that you use for relief. This way, you will never be confused about which posture should you sit in, and the secondary posture should always be comfortable. So it will never happen that secondary posture will bring you pain, because you never sit there for more than 3 minutes. So you can use this posture also, this secondary posture also for Seiza, for the Japanese posture. And when you meditate on a chair, the secondary posture is leaning over the back of the chair. So if you lean over the back of the chair, you know that this is the secondary posture, and you cannot stay leaning over the back of the chair for longer than 3 minutes. All right, so you lean over the back of the chair only for maximum 3 minutes, because you had pain in your primary posture. That means the posture with the erect back. Sometimes the bum is pretty painful when you meditate on a chair. So you may like to use a cushion. Okay, you may like to use a pillow on the chair, because if it is hard, you will experience that. So as soon as you feel that you're having pain in your legs, you can lean your back over the back of the chair for maximum 3 minutes, and then come back to the erect posture. So this is the sitting posture. So this is how we will be sitting in terms of legs. Now, as for the hands, our hands will be gently placed one on another. So one hand placed like this. We will not be interlacing them. No, that's wrong. placing them gently one on another, resting the thumbs on the fingers, and resting it all in the lap. Now, what if you want to keep your hands on the knees? That's fine. But if you keep your hands on the knees, you need to keep them on the knees. All right? Some meditators, what they do as they meditate, they will keep their hands on the knees, and then they will keep them on the lap, and then again on the knees, and then again on the lap, and then again on the knees. And when I ask them after the meditation, so where did you keep your hands during meditation? They say, I don't know. And that's a disaster. Okay, we don't want that. So either you keep them on the knees or you keep them in the lap. You cannot change it during the meditation session. You can change your primary posture each session. So for example, 1 hour sitting, you will meditate like this in the number 1 style. For the next hour, you can meditate in the number 2 style. Then another hour, you can meditate number 1 style. Then another hour, you can meditate in number 3 style. Totally fine. Okay, but keep the secondary posture always the same, keeping the legs by the side. So that's for hands. Now, what about the head? So let's move to the back first. So the back should be erect. Whether your back is erect or not, I cannot check it that easily now from this video. This is a big disadvantage of an online meditation retreat. So I will always miss some little details about your meditation, but we do our best. So when you meditate, what you can do, you can sit right in front of a wall and apply your back over the wall and see whether you're sitting really with the erect back. Do not sit leaning over the wall during meditation, but it's a way how you can check whether you know what is to keep your back erect. Or you can ask your mom or dad or son or daughter or husband or wife or whoever is around to come and tell you whether your back is, we call it horizontal, no, vertical. Whether your back is really in the vertical position. If you find out that you're not able to keep your back erect because you're not used to it, well, then there is one very interesting trick to help. And that is to take your tips of your shoulders. You know, our shoulders have tips. So take the tips of your shoulders and move them back. And suddenly you will be erect. Suddenly the back is erect. It's incredible how it works. So if you know, or if somebody told you that your back is not erect, move your shoulders back. And suddenly things will get much, much better. So this is for the back. Now we'll be looking at the head and neck. So the head also needs to be properly positioned. If you don't position properly your head during meditation, you may end up in a hospital, and we don't want that. So you need to be careful about your head. The chin needs to be closer to the neck, not touching the neck, but it needs to be closer. And then we will send the head back a little. Okay, so without moving the head at all, we only send it back a little. It should be comfortable. So if it is uncomfortable, it's wrong. If it is comfortable, it's maybe right. So this is how you can check whether it's too wrong or too right. So now come the very special feature of this meditation retreat. And that's the eyes. We will be keeping our eyes open during this practice. Throughout the day, 10 days, we will keep our eyes open during this meditation. It may be extremely difficult for you, and that's fine. If you close your eyes unintentionally, then it still is okay. And if you close your eyes because there is pain, then it also is okay. But and if you have their tears, if tears are falling, then also you can close your eyes. Even if you just worry that tears are almost coming, but there are no tears yet, still you can close your eyes and it's totally fine. But if you have no worries that now you are going to have tears, if you have no pain, then I do not like if you close your eyes, because it will be a huge problem for all of us. As soon as you close your eyes, two problems may start. Number one, you may fall asleep and you will not even know it because you just fall asleep. If you keep your eyes open, then first your eyes have to close and then you fall asleep. So you will notice that you're falling asleep because your eyes first have to close if you meditate with opened eyes. If you meditate with closed eyes, then you cannot know. You will have no possibility to know that you fell asleep or at what time did you fall asleep, because you just fall asleep. The mind doesn't need to do anything for it. But this is still not a problem. What is a bigger problem is that when you meditate with closed eyes, various imaginations and fantasies and pictures come into your mind. And that still would not be really a problem if you understand that they are imaginations and fantasies. What happens, however, is that people believe it. Sometimes people see dragons, or they see the Buddha, or they see some other things. And they believe that this is a true message, that this is something real, that they need to do something with that. Nobody can convince them of anything at all. They're done. That's all. Okay, even the most professional, most experienced meditators, when they see things in meditation like that, there is no discussion. They are totally sure they know what's going on. But it's not the instruction, right? So you come, you meditate on loving kindness, and instead you are watching dragons and the Buddha. So where is the loving kindness? It's not there, because you were working with your dragons and the Buddha, right? So you see, we didn't get that what we wanted. It's beautiful, you can see dragons and the Buddha, but you didn't really get for what you came. So we want to be very careful about this. And to avoid this entirely, you just meditate with opened eyes. And the problem will never happen. Isn't that amazing? Total solution, forever. I never hear from people that they see dragons or gods or the Buddha or something else if they keep their eyes open. Sometimes they feel things, that's true. Sometimes they hear things, that's true. But those are not that important, or they are never serious things. We can easily resolve them. Things that you see cannot be resolved. Nobody will convince you that it is not true, because you will know your truth. So always please keep your eyes open, so that I'm very happy teaching you, and guiding you. And also that you do not get stuck on some nonsense. So as you keep your eyes open, you will face a lot of additional troubles. These troubles, such as that you cannot concentrate very easily, or some people feel dizzy, or that your eyes want to close, and so on. These are temporary. They will take about 2 or 3 days before you get used to this practice. After about 3 days, when you get used to meditating with opened eyes, you will not even think about it. You will just know, okay, so I'm sitting, eyes are open, everything's fine. We keep our eyes cast down. That means we see the floor right in front of us, and we do not concentrate on the floor. You will probably see all kinds of faces and things on the floor as your eyes are playing with whatever they see on the floor, but that's not a problem. As soon as you notice you're not with your meditation practice, you just go back to your practice. Okay, so this was the sitting posture. I think this was pretty enough, at least now for this beginning. So let's do some meditation together in sitting, and then I will talk about walking, and that probably will be enough for today. So we can sit in our selected primary meditation posture, either number 1 or 2 or 3, or the Japanese, or on the chair. Make sure your back is erect. Make sure you see the floor in front of yourself. You can blink as much as you want during meditation. Gradually, the need to blink will probably decrease. And it still is healthy if you keep your eyes only a little open. Make sure your eyes are only half or less open. So 1/3, 1/4 is fine, or just very little, whatever is comfortable, so that you still see the floor clearly. And if your eyes are just a little bit open, somehow it's fine if they don't blink. If you kept your eyes wide open, then of course that would be a problem. But you can blink as much as you want. And as we are sitting in a comfortable meditation posture with the back erect, chin a little close to the neck, and the head sent a little to the back. And as we see the floor in front of us, we can make the first determination. We'll always make determination in the beginning of every sitting and walking in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles without any movement. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles without any movement. From now on, for 10 minutes, I will meditate on muscles without any movement. And with that determination, with that decision, you can gently, lovingly notice there is a flat piece of sinew at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy. So it represents the element of earth. There's some heaviness, some weight. So here, heaviness doesn't mean that it's heavy. It means that there's some weight. And we also allow it to change as we are aging. The body is changing. So we allow this heaviness and change in this flat piece of sinew at the top of the head. So sinews are the white, they're the white portions of muscles. They help the muscle to be stuck on the bone. At the top of the head, there is a flat piece of this white flesh-like thing, but it's not flesh, it's a sinew. And there are pieces of flesh, pieces of muscle attached to that, and that's the forehead muscle and 2 spots at the back of the head. So now we are considering the heaviness and change in the flat piece of sinew at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy and changing. And we continue to the forehead. There's a muscle. And we also allow it to be heavy and changing. And in this manner, we will accept, we will allow heaviness and change in muscles and sinews throughout the body. So we continue to the eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head, we allow all of the muscles and sinews throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and flesh, all of the muscles and sinews throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes, we allow all of the muscles and sinews throughout the body to be heavy and changing. And we continue again at the top of the head, forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head. We allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body, throughout the upper part of the body, to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes. We allow all of the muscles and sinews throughout the body to be heavy and changing. Now, because the time for the sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds listlessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And with that determination, we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. So we will all move on to the secondary posture. Everybody, let's move to the secondary posture. All of us, let's move to the secondary posture. So we are now keeping our legs by the side of our body. So now, as you are keeping the legs by the side of your body, you can take 1 more minute to enjoy the peace we gained in meditation. Okay, very well. So this is how you can meditate in sitting. So as you can see, we're only working with the muscles. We did not really concentrate on a peace or loving kindness. We did not share with anyone anything. We did not observe the breath at all. Just going from the top of the head to the tips of the toes, and from the tips of the toes right to the top of the head again, and downwards, and again and again and again and again. So that's what's coming now for your 6 hours of meditation. Nothing else. And it will be the same in sitting and walking. So you already know what you will be doing in your walking meditation. You already know it very exactly. You will be meditating on muscles. So as you meditate on walking, you will be with your muscles, starting from the top of the head and gradually going down to the tips of the toes, and then again and again. So how do you do walking practice? Walking meditation practice has also many roles. And it's good if you can follow them, then you will achieve concentration very fast. The Buddha praised walking meditation very much. The Buddha said that if you can gain concentration in your walking practice, then it will be stable. So we want to have concentration developed also in walking practice so that it can be reliable. So for walking practice, it is necessary that you choose a walking path. Walking path is a stretch, is a distance between 2 points, which you can from and to which you can walk there and back for the desired period of time. So let's say that you choose, you find a tree, and then you find a stone about 15 steps far from that tree. So the tree will be the point of your start. The stone will be the point of your end, or the other way, the stone can be the start, the tree will be the end. And you will stand up at the, let's say at the tree, and you will make the determination from now on, for 60 minutes, I will walk and observe muscles while walking. So from now on for 15 minutes, or from now on for 60 minutes, or whatever the time, I will observe muscles while walking. And this you can say 3 times. So from now on for 15 minutes, I will observe muscles while walking. From now on for 15 minutes, I will observe muscles while walking. From now on for 15 minutes, I will observe muscles while walking. You finish your determination and then you start to walk. And as you walk, you just start there at the top of the head. So top of the head, forehead, eyes, nose. You come to the end, you need to stop. You stop at least for 3 seconds. And you ask yourself, am I mindful? Am I not mindful? And then you turn back and you go towards the start. And you continue. For example, you did top of the head, forehead, eyes. So you continue with nose, lips, chin. You arrive at the beginning. And again, you ask yourself, am I mindful? Am I not mindful? And again, you turn to the other side. And again, you continue. Let's say you finished with the chin. So you continue with cheeks, ears, back of the head. You stop there, and so on and on. So always at the start and end, you need to check whether you are mindful or not. And also, you need to check whether you're mindful during the walking. But during the walking, you're more concerned with the meditation practice. For both the sitting and on walking meditation practice, you will be facing the challenge of the so-called secondary meditation object. So as you meditate, for example, in sitting, then thoughts may come, or pain, or something you hear, or something is walking over the floor that you see, or you start to see things on the floor, like some faces or things. So these are so-called secondary objects, and they are objects. They're your meditation objects. So we are not angry about them. We're not angry about them. We're not disappointed about them. We don't try to get rid of them. No, they're our meditation objects. The difference between secondary and primary meditation object is that the secondary object is secondary. It's not primary. And so we cannot really jump from secondary object to a secondary object, because the secondary object is basically derived from the primary. So from secondary object, you always need to go back to the primary object, not to another secondary object. So for example, you meditate in sitting, so you have top of the head, forehead, eyes, and now you start to think. So you will be thinking, so what am I going to eat tomorrow? And then you realize, aha, this is a thought. That's not muscles. So let's go back, and you start at the top of the head again. So you will not really go through. You will have to restart again and again and again and again and again and again, maybe even 100 or 1,000 times, and it's totally fine. So top of the head, forehead, eyes. Oh, there's this weird sound outside. What's going on? Oh, those must be some children. Oh, I'm meditating. Okay, top of the head, forehead, eyes, nose. There's some pain in my leg. What's going on? Maybe I will need to change my posture. Ah, I'm meditating. Okay, so top of the head, forehead, eyes, nose, lips. What am I smelling? Somebody's cooking something really delicious. Oh, wait, I'm meditating. Okay. Top of the head, forehead, eyes, and so on and on and on and on and on and on, until your mind realizes that it doesn't matter. Nothing else matters than just these muscles and sinews. So then your mind will just be satisfied. So when your mind is satisfied, then it doesn't care about anything else, and it peacefully goes all the way until the tips of the toes, and then again and again and again. Until then, you may need to repeat. And again, if you repeat 100 times, 1,000 times, it's totally fine. We are not here forcing the mind. We are training the mind. Each person, each mind needs different period of time to calm down. If you have been meditating for many, many years, of course, you have more experience, so you will probably calm down faster. If you do not have that experience, then the various memories from your childhood, from the past, various problems you're having now, you had in the past, things you need to resolve into the future, they will be coming into the mind because they never had the opportunity to really come into the mind. Now, finally, they have the freedom to come in. And if you allow them to come in, they will go very fast. If you try to hold them, if you are angry with them, well, then you do not give them the permission to really come in fully so that they can go fully. So any attempts to not think, not feel, not know, not hear, or not see, and so on, are only slowing you down. All of these attempts will only slow you down, and moreover, in some people, they cause headache and weird pressures and weird experiences. So we want to get rid of all of these negative attitudes. We just allow whatever comes in the mind is fine. Only because it's fine, it can go. It may stay there. See, it will not stay there longer than those 60 minutes of your meditation. As soon as you change your posture, I can guarantee you it will be gone. It will be gone. 99% of these things are gone by the time you change your posture. Totally gone. You will not even remember it. I'll ask you, so what did you think about? You're like, oh, I don't know. I just didn't meditate. See? So you do not need to worry about that. Do not try to resolve anything either. So you see, there are two extremes. One extreme is when you're fighting with it. Another extreme is that you appreciate it and you work with it. We don't want any of the two extremes. We just want to give it free flow. Comes and goes. So if you, for example, have some problem, maybe you have some problem that you did something wrong, or somebody asked you a question and you did not answer it yet, or you're resolving some problem with somebody, some unpleasant relationship or whatever, then when it comes to the mind, remind yourself of the determination. So we are making determination in the beginning of every sitting and walking practice. And this determination is your effort. That's all what we want as your effort. Everything else is just, how to say that? It's just the effect of your determination. So in the beginning, as you sit and you decide from now on for 60 minutes, I will observe muscles without any movement. When you do this, then that is all the effort that you need. Then as you meditate those 60 minutes or 30 or 15 or whatever, then whenever you have a problem, remind yourself of the determination you made. So you do not need to fight with anything. You just remind yourself, hey, wait, I'm here to meditate on muscles without any movement. Am I doing that? No? Okay, so let me do that because that's what I want. And whatever are the problems and pressing issues that you immediately need to resolve, you can decide, I'll resolve them after I finish this sitting or after I finish this walking. Interestingly, most of these problems will not arise at all at the end of the sitting or walking. They're just there to have fun with you. And if you don't play with them, well, then they will be bored and go away. Okay. So that's also how you can think of it. Of course, they will not get bored, but that's an attitude that may help you. So you can think, okay, so these thoughts came here to play with me, but I'm here determined to meditate. So I will be meditating. You're not forcing them. You allow them to come, do whatever they want, and then they leave. You continue. We don't force. It's our meditation object. The thought, the sound, whatever we see or feel, or the pain, they're our meditation object. But if it's an excruciating, really painful pain, well, then we, of course, need to change the posture. Always remember to adjust your back. If the back is not erect, always you can erect the back. But we do not scratch ourselves. We don't turn the head here and there. We don't move our fingers, our hands, or our shoulders, or our toes, or our knees, or anything of that kind. No, must not happen. But if your back is not erect, you need to erect it. And if you have a lot of pain in your sitting, you need to change your posture. If the pain is in the legs. Okay, so I want to explain walking meditation more in detail tomorrow, and I wish that you try out walking meditation. Do not be shy. Try it out, and if it's wrong, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that it is a clearly given distance, 15 to 30 steps, and that you make the determination in the beginning. You walk over to the end and then back to the beginning and end and beginning and end and beginning, and like this until the period of time is finished. And you will and only practice with muscles, nothing else. Both in walking and in sitting, it's always from top of the head to the tips of the toes. And that should be enough. So now we have time for questions. One thing comes to my head, and that's the clock. So how shall I do that? So it's good if you can turn off your phone during these 10 days, but because you're at home, some of you may not be able to do that. Those of you who can turn off your phone will be very probably more successful and progressing faster. If you turn off your phone, you will still need some device that will show you the time. Maybe you have it on the wall, maybe you're using small clock, that's not a problem. Maybe you have an iPod like this is not a phone. So whatever is the device, you can keep it in front of yourself by the side, because we will not be using alarm clock. Use alarm clock to wake up, but not to meditate. Because later, if you meditate, in a meditation center with other people, imagine that you meditate with 100 people and all of the 100 people will set up their alarm clock. Okay, so no, we don't want that. And you can have a very good habit by not setting alarm clock already starting at this retreat. So if you sit in meditation, what you can do is you can take your clock or whatever it is, ideally not a phone, and you keep it in front to a side. Can be by the left side or by the right side, it's the same thing. And as you keep your clock by the side, then you see the floor in front of you right here throughout the time. Sometimes your sight will go closer, sometimes a little further, sometimes a little closer, and that's totally fine. It's no problem. Now, suppose you want to know what's the time. So your eyesight is from your eyes here. So you just change the angle of your eyesight to the clock and then back right in front of you. That's all. And you can do this even when you're very deeply concentrated, because the movement of the opened eyes to change the angle is very slight, very subtle. So you can do it without disturbing your meditation practice. If you kept your eyes closed, of course, this would be difficult. Because your eyes are open, it's very easy to look at the clock and look back within a second or two. Immediately you know whether this is the time to finish or not, and you continue. So for walking, you would do basically the same thing, except that you keep the clock somewhere probably close to the beginning or the end of your walking path, so that whenever you come to the end or whenever you come to the beginning, you see what's the time. So you know how much time remains for your meditation. So we never need an alarm clock. We don't need to make any noises during this meditation retreat. No noises, no need. All right, so now we have 1 minute for questions and answers. So whoever of you wants to go and start meditation, you can. And this will be still recorded. The questions and answers session will always also be recorded. Those of you, because you already know the basics, so if you really want to go, you can. Those of you who would like to stay and ask me questions, we definitely can dedicate it at least 30 minutes or more as needed. So whoever has any question, anything you would like to ask, or any concerns, or anything is not clear, now is the time to ask. Yes, Han Nguyen.
Dear Bante, I would like to ask about the cycle of observation on muscle. Well, for example, when I finish one cycle of the muscle, should I start from the top of the head, or should I start from the tip of the toes?
You should always start from the top of the head. So we do not go from bottom to up. We always go from up to bottom. Okay.
Yeah, but excuse me. I'm not clear about this point. I mean, when I finish the first cycle of the muscle and I go to the second cycle, so shall I start the second one from the top of the head or from the tip of the toes?
You should start the second one from the top of the head.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Yes. Mr. Chung.
Dear Bante, I misunderstood that you said that working count at the heart.
No, that was how to say that? That was wrong. So only lying down counts as half. Walking and sitting count 100%.
Thank you, Bante.
Okay, Tutam.
Before I ask, I would like to say that there was question in the chat box, Vivante. One meditator asked that do not meditate over 15 minutes or 60 minutes.
So I mentioned in some of the examples also 40 minutes and 45 minutes, right? So you can meditate 45 minutes, you can meditate up to 60, that means 60 minutes. Yes, Tori? You're muted.
I'm sorry. So the interview start tomorrow?
We start right now. So
right now.
Right now starts the time for meditation for your 6 hours, and the time for these 6 hours ends at the moment we start interviews tomorrow.
So when we have the interviews, can I go first? Because it's pretty late.
Is it late? Okay, as per the request. But otherwise, I will, because you're in the US and you're the only person in the US, but everybody else is in Vietnam. So I will be interviewing the others based on their ordination and based on their gender and age. So first I will be interviewing Tori because she's in the US. Then I will continue with Venerable Phuoc Diệu Tri. And then I will continue probably with Mr. Annie Nguyen. Will you meditate alone or both of you will meditate? Both of you. So can you please write both of the names in your video?
Yeah.
Okay. First keep the gentleman and then I will follow the lady. So then I will be interviewing the gentleman. Then I will be interviewing Mr. Chung. Yeah, can you write it in the name, or maybe Tutam can do that?
How can I write? Can I write it in the chat?
You can write it in the chat, and then Tutam will write it in your video. If it is a laptop, you would do right-click on your video, and then select rename as the last option.
Oh, okay.
Found it?
Wait. Select my video. Choose.
Yeah, Tutam will be responsible for making the order of who is coming, because she knows the way how we are always doing it. It's the way how it's done in all Burmese monasteries up to my knowledge. So it's nothing new.
I done. I already renamed it.
Yes, found it. Mr. Annie Nguyen and Mrs. Tien Pham.
Yeah.
So then Tutam can publish that list of the interview time, but you will be all there as a group because you're not many people. And as I am doing interviews, I like to add more information, more details, similes and stories and ideas and suggestions and so on. So I like all of you to be present at the interview. We will not be recording that. We will not be broadcasting that, but all of you will be aware of what's going on so that I do not have to repeat myself. And those who are interviewed later, they already know what's coming. So it will be faster and faster and faster. In the beginning, you will be surprised. I will ask you, so how many hours did you meditate? And you will say, at 5 p.m. I will say, no. How many hours did you meditate? And you will say, I meditated 3 hours. And I will say, so did you do walking meditation or sitting meditation in those 3 hours? You will say, walking meditation. I will say, how many hours did you do sitting meditation? 3 hours. Aha, so you meditated 6 hours. Amazing. You see? So that's what we have usually with the first, second people. And then as I'm moving on to the other people, they already know, aha, so this is what he wants as an answer. So it gets faster and faster and faster. Okay. Yes, Mrs. Min Lim.
Thank you, Bante. I would like to ask about the process of 6 hours. So do we have to determine to be sure that how much time each session? For example, I decide to do it 1 hour, but somehow sometime I just have 50 minutes. Doesn't count. Does it count 15 minutes, or I have to do it for the full hour to count in 6?
Choose such period that you are 100% sure that you can do. All right. If you, for some reason, forget yourself, for example, you fall asleep and you meditate 5 minutes longer, it's no problem because that was not intentional. And if, for example, sometimes it happens to me also that I'm very tired, I'm like extremely tired. I decide 30 minutes and after 15 minutes, I just cannot meditate. The mind just does not allow it. So then I So then I stop the meditation, and it's totally fine. That can happen. If it happens once a year, then it's totally fine. Okay. If it happens more than that, then it's not fine. So try to determine such a period of time that you're sure you will meditate. And you may be a little bit challenging yourself, but do not, challenge yourself too much. In sitting practice, we want to avoid pain. You will, after about 3 days, you will have only 2 choices for sitting time: 30 minutes, 30, or 60 minutes, 60. For these 3 days, however, you have full freedom. You can choose 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You can choose 45 minutes. You can choose 23 minutes. Whatever you want is fine, but only these 3 days. Then for about 4 days, you will not have that freedom. So it's good for you, to gradually train yourself to stay in sitting and in walking at least those 30 minutes, because you will have the choice only 30 or 60, 60. Okay. 20 will not work, and you will easily realize why. I will explain that later. It's because of the system of the meditation, which is a little complicated. So now you can meditate by 10 minutes, and it's fine. It will be a lot of sessions, but it's fine. You can meditate by 30 minutes or 25, and you can decide that anytime you want, but you decide that one time, especially in the beginning of the session, and you should fulfill that. Why is this so extremely important? Because this is the first skill. This is the first helping skill in gaining power over your mind. You decide you will sit without any movement for 20 minutes, and then you really sit 20 minutes without any movement. Well, that means that what you decided has happened. If you do this many, many times and you gradually challenge yourself, you may be later able to do this with 60 minutes. And when you achieve deep, deep levels of concentration, I may ask you to try this with 5 hours. So you sit down, you decide now for 5 hours, I will meditate on whatever, loving kindness without any movement. And after 5 hours, which is exactly 300 minutes, without ever looking at the clock at all, exactly after those 300 minutes, you will look at the clock for the first time and see that exactly 300 minutes are gone. Okay? It's not really a useful skill, like what's that useful for? But it helps you to gain power over the mind. So then when you decide something else, it will happen. For example, You have to give speech in front of a large crowd of people. So you decide, I will be calm. And you're calm because you decided that. Or you will have to write an exam. And you will decide, I will remember everything that I learned. And you will remember that. Okay? So we get this very basic skill of memory. We already should have it, right? Because these are basic things. It's just that we don't have it. So we are training in meditation so that we get this skill. And the more you practice, the higher, the more powerful is the skill. So that's why it's important that whatever you determine in the beginning of the meditation, that you fulfill it throughout the time. Okay? Yes, Tutam?
Bhante, kindly suggest us the proper time for watching VMC.
For the VMC. Because I will not be present at that time, you will have to suggest that yourself. So, Tutam, what about if you give 2 options and then you will see how many people will vote for them? So you can suggest any 2 options that are comfortable for you because you will be playing those videos. So you need to be available. And then we'll see which of the 2 options are most desirable.
It is quite difficult in this time because I think that in the evening is better, but evening we have the course, Abhidhamma course.
So what about after the Abhidhamma course? So the course should be finishing at 8 p.m. So what about 8:30 p.m. as one option?
Nope. Given we have some time, we have to finish the Abhidhamma course at 9:30. Quite late.
9:30? Well, we start at 6 p.m., right? So if we start at 6 p.m., we should finish by 8.
Later. Yes, Monday. In some day we start later. Some day we start early.
So then on that day, you will broadcast another time.
Yeah. I suggest 2 times, that's in the morning, early morning, and 1 time in the afternoon.
So write them down in the chat box.
Yes, Monday.
But still, wouldn't night be a little bit better? What about, for example, 9:30? So that in the afternoon, if needed, you can come and check the test. Or will you be also meditating 6 hours a day?
No, Monday.
No, you won't. So because you're organizer, so you shouldn't. So then you can help checking the test, right, for the Abhidhamma course. So then in that case, maybe nighttime would also work. Also note that in the US, depends on the state. Seattle, where's that? Seattle is somewhere else. Isn't that like California, Seattle? It's like California. So it's the same like New York, -3 hours. So then now in New York, it's 2:15 a.m. And so in Seattle, it's indeed 11:15 p.m. So if it is in the afternoon, Tutam, then it will be difficult, you know. If it is at night or early in the morning, it's easier for anyone who's in the US. So maybe what about 9:30 p.m. and then sometime in the morning, maybe 5 a.m. So you can write it down in the chat box.
Can be 6 a.m. and 3:30 p.m. Devante.
3:30 p.m. would be, that is not a good time, 3:30 p.m. because that will be a horrible time in which you would never like to wake up. If you take 3:30 p.m., that will be in Seattle 1:30 a.m. That is not good for anyone. So what about to think about my suggestion?
Oh, Mrs. Phạm Hà can support me if I. Oh no. Sure.
So
Yes,
what
I think
about,
that I can support me to share the video in the evening. So if I support you in the epidemic course, so she can support me to play the videos.
but that still did not resolve the problem. Can you please kindly write the two options in the chat box?
Mhm. Seven.
Okay, 6 a.m. or 8 p.m. So let's see what's that Seattle time. So 8 p.m. would be 6 a.m. in Seattle, and 6 a.m. would be 4 p.m. in Seattle. I think that makes sense. So let's vote. All of you who would be comfortable with 6 a.m. of Vietnamese time, which is 4 p.m. of Seattle time, can you please raise your hand, raise your Zoom hand? So we are now voting for 6 a.m., 6 o'clock in the morning of Vietnamese time. 6 a.m. in the morning of a Vietnamese time. Anyone who would be comfortable at that time for these meetings, so you're meeting with me and an interview, so 2 hours of 2 hours meeting, just raise your hand. If it is comfortable for you at least a little, please raise your hand. And this is no, sorry, only for the video broadcasting, 20 minutes. The video takes 20 minutes. Our meetings will stay as we have decided, 11 a.m. every day. Yes, I also got confused. This is only for the video broadcasting, and the videos take about 20 minutes, sometimes less. So you would be coming at 6 a.m. of Vietnamese time to this link, watching a video for 20 minutes, and that's all. And then you continue doing whatever you want. Okay, so we have 4 people. So that means if then for the other option, that means 8 p.m. vote 3 people, these 4 people will win. Be careful about that. And if the other option has 5 people, then this option with 4 people will win. The other one will win. So I'm asking you one more time, if you think this time 6 a.m. Vietnamese time in the morning, which is 4 p.m. in the US in Seattle, if that's in any way comfortable for you, it's better to raise your hand than not to raise your hand. Okay, Anh Nguyen also. So Anh Nguyen and Tien Pham, because they are 2, if one voice, double power. Okay, so we have 6 votes for 6 a.m. So organizers, please kindly remove the hands, and now we will be voting for the other option. So that's 8 p.m. evening of a Vietnam time. 8 p.m. evening of Vietnam time. Whoever would be comfortable for these 20 minutes video broadcasting, please raise your hand. Raise your Zoom hand. It's just 20 minutes. Sometimes it's even less, like 15 minutes or like that. Whoever would be comfortable. If you are comfortable with both, also raise your hand now. If you're comfortable also with this one, also raise your hand. Okay? You can vote 2 times. So, Mr. Anh Nguyen and Tien Pham, what do you think? Because now it's 6, so now it's 50-50, right? So we know nothing. So, what do you think? Are you fine with that time? No?
6 a.m. is better for us because we are more organized at the time.
I see.
8
But
8 p.m. would be a little bit cold.
would be a little different. So you could probably come some days, and some days you cannot come, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And this is Hu Yen Chang.
Yes.
Would you be comfortable with 8 p.m.?
At 8 p.m. sometimes I worry because I have baby at home at 8 p.m. So it may disturb.
No, it won't, because you will not be talking. Just you could be. Yeah, you could take.
Then 8 a.m. is okay.
Earbuds is just listening. You do not really need to see the video, because what you see on the video is just me there talking and some nice eye candies and so on. But mostly it's just me talking there. So
that's good. That's good. So at 8 p.m. is also good.
Yeah, you do not really need to watch the video. If you watch it, it's a little bit easier because the things are written there and there are some nice things happening on the video, but it's just me talking. That's all.
Then 8 a.m. is okay for me.
Okay, nice. So that would be 8 p.m. Tutam. Tutam, would you be comfortable for this throughout those 10 days?
Depending, Mrs. Phạm Hà can support me to play the videos at that time.
Very well.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so that means that you will have to provide the videos to Mrs. Pham Ha, right? Okay.
So in some days, our Dhamma course, Abhidhamma course finish early, so I can postcard it, but when I not available, Mrs. Pham Ha can support me.
But that means that she will have to have the videos, right? She will have to borrow the hard disk and play it from the hard disk, right? It's better, rather than playing it from the hard disk, to copy it to the computer. But I would like to ask you to delete those videos right after you finish broadcasting. Just delete the video, okay? Because there are old versions, we're working on them. So I don't want, to get the old versions to spread. That would be very unfortunate if there will be new videos which are much better, much more complete. So the first lecture, however, probably is now ready to be published. It's just that I want to hear some feedback from the people.
Yes, Bante.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. Any more question? Anything you'd like to know? No, everything's clear. So I hope to see everybody at the same time as we met today. It was a pleasure to see everyone. Oh, we have something that could speed up all of the process. Tutam, Vietnam Chanlan has some kind of questionnaire. Do you know that? She has some kind of form, I think in Google Forms for meditators. So when if the meditators answered that form, it would be very fast in the interviews. So I can spend the time by some new explanations and encouragement and answers. So maybe it would be better if you can take those forms and always send them about 5 minutes before we start our meeting. So at 10:55. And so everybody here, please pay attention now. I would like to suggest that you come to this meeting 5 minutes before we are supposed to start. You will get here a link. You will enter that link and answer some questions like what's your name, how old are you, but more importantly, how many hours did you meditate, in which posture, what kind of experience did you have, and so on and on, so that during the interview we are very fast. So I don't have to ask you all those questions. I will immediately help you with any problem that you wrote about, and if you have more questions, you can ask me. So we will not be resolving some communication problems. It will be very fast. Okay, Tutam, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know which form Vietnam Chanlan uses?
Yes, Bante.
Okay, so thank you everyone for coming. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do. Many thanks.
Thank you. Sadhu. Thank you very much, Bante.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. So today we have the VMC watching at 8 p.m. So everyone please come with this Zoom and we can watch together. Thank you very much. Goodbye and see you at 8 p.m. today, Vietnamese time.
Thank you. Goodbye.